Season 2, Road Rage. Race for Glory. Sim Motorsport Association. Growing the sport together.
Welcome racing fans to round 2 of the Sim Motorsport Association Season 2 Road Rage. Last week's season opening race was full of drama and excitement as it was Deacon who was first to take the checkered flag to steal an early march at the top of the standings. With today's broadcast, we've got a brand new car on the grid, a brand new track to conquer. Will we see a new race winner today, or will Deacon be making a bold statement for Season 2 glory? And would you look at that? A familiar face making his return from the MSA Cup, none other than Slow-Mo. I am absolutely delighted to have him back today with myself, Flawed Genius Gaming, bringing you all the action for the next couple of hours. So good evening to you, Slow-Mo. How are you? And thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, it is my pleasure. Flawed, always love being here. What an awesome combination we've got today. This car is a lot of fun to drive. The track is super fun in addition to that, so we are going to see some tight racing.
Yes, indeed, we will see some tight racing. Definitely looking forward to today. But before we do reveal the race details, it's important we mention our sponsors for Season 2, as without them, none of this would be possible. So SMA is brought to you by Simulator Cave, South Africa's haven for all your sim racing equipment, selling only the highest recommended products from the likes of Fanatec and Moza, as well as racing cockpits for that perfect driving experience. Link is in the description below. TGSC, Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing young potential to golfing greatness. An academy with a breadth of history for producing talent on the world stage. If you feel you have what it takes to become South Africa's next global star, TGSC is the place to be. Postnet Midstream. Aside from the endless business and personal possibilities, Postnet brings something extra: heart and connection. With quality printing, shipping and design services, Postnet shows that it's not just about business, it's about people. We're not just any print and ship shop, we're your people. And also, Right Recruitment. Finding the right people just got easier as they handle everything from A to Z, sourcing, screening and matching top talent that fits your business perfectly. Save time, cut the hassle and build a stronger team with Right Recruitment, where the right hire is always the right choice. And also DC Designs, where imagination meets reality. From custom home decor and lifestyle products to specialized gaming and sim racing accessories, DC Designs uses the power of 3D printing to craft items as unique as you are. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind gift, personalized collectibles, or gear to level up your sim rig, DC Designs has you covered. Turn your ideas into reality with DC Designs. Coach Dave Academy is the trusted name in sim racing, offering world-class setups, data packs and coaching to help you unlock your true potential in GT7. And with Delta AI, the leading GT7 telemetry app, you'll get easy to use race data analysis, instant tips to race faster online with AI powered coaching that highlights your weaknesses to improve lap times with ease. Compare your laps with the pros and take your sim racing to the next level with Coach Dave Academy. And And racing fans, we're fired up to welcome our newest sponsor, Slayer Energy Drink. Homegrown in South Africa, it fuels your focus, hits hard, and still tastes smooth. That's how Slayer does energy. Their motto is death to dull, and trust us, they'll live by it. Bold flavours and zero boredom. Slayer, crushing the norm, fueling the madness, and keeping every lap electrified. So thank you so much to all our sponsors for the whole of SMA Season 2. And speaking of sponsors, we have a special broadcast conducted by Hugh Hattrick on his very own YouTube channel, interviewing Slayer, Postnet, Right Recruitment and DC Designs, broadcasted live tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Africa time. Miss it or miss out, links are in the description below. SMA is in association with Motorsport South Africa, the only organisation licensed and fully backed by the FIA of all competitive motorsport inside of South Africa. And we are delighted to acquire the services of Luckie Mistake, aka our very own moderator Dana, that I'm sure you'll see in chat right now. She is responsible for all the fabulous graphics you see in front of you, as well as our brand new YouTube content creator Parquet713. You would have seen examples of his work from the road race trailers to the intro video that you may have just seen. We want to say a big thank you on behalf of SMA for the continuous hard work you've provided, and will continue to do so for the whole of Season 2. Please check out their links and support them as only the SMA can by following and subscribing to these amazing individuals, please. Also, please contact Robin Williams, our SMA GT7 promoter, for any inquiries for future SMA tournaments coming up in 2026 and beyond. Email links will be in the description below and on our YouTube homepage. So, with all the credits said and done, let's take a look at our race calendar for this season. So, with one round completed, we turn our attention to round 2 as we head to Japan for the iconic GT7 original circuit of the high-speed ring. The following week, on the 20th of October, we head back to the US for the Blue Moon Speedway, but in its road infield layout. This is then followed up by a trip to Italy at the beautiful Lago Maggiore, but in the western variation. Round 5 sees us in the forest of Germany as we pay a visit to the Green Hell. That's right, we are racing at the Nürburgring 24-hour layout. And speaking of doom to some, the following week on the 10th of November, we then head across to the Aussie hell of Mount Panorama, Bathurst. Then it's back over to America in the penultimate round of the championship, where we take a visit to the famous Watkins Glen before we round off the championship on the 24th of November for the grand finale, to be held back in Japan for the metropolis streets of Tokyo East clockwise, where we may learn which driver will be crowned the new champion of SMA Season 2. So that is our racing lineup for this season, but Mo, please explain to us the details for tonight's race.
Yeah, thank you, Flawed. Today our drivers are up against a very fun track, as we mentioned. We're going to have a 10-minute qualifying session that will then determine where their starting grid positions will fall. From there, we do have a grid start with a false start check, so watch for that exciting start with these guys. The tire is 1 times tire wear today. There's also a 1-time fuel burn. Where the kicker comes in is the refueling for the fuel is at 20 liters a second, which is really quick, very easy to accidentally overfill or potentially underfill. The drivers are gonna run 40 laps. Soft and mediums are available and required, with the initial starting fuel of 35 liters. Now let's take a look at what our competitors are driving. So here we have the Greddy Fugo Z. This car, which was originally built by the actor Sung Kang, he's also known for his role in the Fast and Furious movie series. It's based on a 1973 240Z, which he bought in a stock state, and then it was custom built to his desired specifications. This beast is powered by an inline 6, which is a front engine. It's also rear wheel drive. It comes stock with 294 horsepower.
Right, thank you, Slow-Mo. So we are going to head over to Parquet for a recap on last week's race in our opening round of the SMA Season 2. So over to you, Parquet.
This is the review of round 1 of the SMA Cup.
We've got 5 red lights. Lights are out and away we go.
Lots of strategy was on offer in sunny California, as gas and tire wear were on everybody's mind going into the race. JDJ got the pit window started with an early stop.
Oh, quite a lot coming off the medium tyres, and something I didn't notice. Yeah, I did not expect that at all, Leviticus.
Well, I don't think this is possibly the right call. Softs can last 39 laps, but the fresh mediums weren't that much slower, so it's an interesting strategy call, but is it going to be worth it? We'll have to see.
And from here, madness ensued. The dust settled, and by lap 3, it was Captain Slow taking the lead with a silky move up the inside.
Captain Slow and Ghost Riders duking it out for the race lead. Ghost Riders has the outside line, so Captain Slow will have the optimal line as we go into turn 1, and he will inherit the race win.
Lap 7 gave us an early entry for move of the season, with Nutcap threading the needle down the mountain into P3.
Nutcap trying it around the outside. Is Nutcap going to make it work? Yes, he does. What a move from Nutcap. Sensational move from Nutcap, showing us how it's done.
Things continued heating up coming into lap 8 as JDJ, Savvy, and Nutcap went 3 wide into T1.
He's going to get a slingshot on him.
Yeah, he does draw alongside him. Let's look on JDJ as well from his point of view. He's going to go through the middle of them. And can he make it work? Wow, this is going to be a fantastic move, but Nutcap, looks like Nutcap, whoa, they're going to be 3 abreast. They're going to be 3 abreast, and they're still 3 abreast. And I can't see on that move, but Jesus Christ, this is so close and intense. It looks like Savvy has got the better of the other 2 to move up into P3.
After a hard-fought 34 laps, we still had a lot to sort out on the track. Savvy secured his place on the podium with this move around Nutcap.
Nutcap is going to take up the inside line. Savvy's going to pull to the outside. Is Savvy going to have the power to get past Nutcap? It does look like this is the case. And Savvy does move up into P3 ahead of Nutcap.
Up in P2, it was Panic Potato finding himself in a tricky situation.
You can definitely see now from Panic Potato's point of view that he's really having to short shift.
I don't think it's going to be a contest right now. He has to save fuel and get past him, and he's not even going to fight it, I think, at the moment. Yeah, he's letting Savvy ahead.
Here's a sitting duck as well on the outside, and it could be that Captain Slow gets 2 for 1 here as he moves up into P3. Panic Potato around the outside. The Nutcap, well, it will be the outside for him, but surely with the extra speed, surely will inherit P4, and yes, he does. Panic Potato down into P5 then.
By the final lap, positions were still up for grabs, as the battle for positions 3 through 5 continued to the bitter end.
One of them drivers that had to say, oh, a little bit of contact, and they go, Captain Slow goes sideways as he tried to rescue the car as we are on the last lap of the race. So it is definitely not done here as we come through the tunnel for the last time.
Ultimately, this was Deacon's day, who not only had a wire-to-wire win, finishing in P1, but also took home driver of the day.
Deacon wins round 1 of the SMA Season 2.
Savvy and Chain rose 1 position to finish in P2.
Savvy is going to come across the line to finish in 2nd position.
And Captain Slow rounded out the podium in P3, all the way up from P12.
Where is Captain Slow? Captain Slow is P3. It's going to be Nutcap just in front of Panic Potato, who finishes in P5. A fantastic race we just endured there, Liam. What are your thoughts on it?
Just blown away with all the drama at the end of the race. Once we realized, the fuel situation is not looking good for some of the drivers, it just blew up. I was thoroughly enjoying it. I did not expect that.
I'm Parquet, and I'll see y'all next week. Flawed, Back to you, friend.
Thank you, Parquet. So how has that affected things in the standings for Tier 1? Let's take a look. So as this is the first race, this can also be counted as the race results, but the points are as follows. So TNR Deacon is sitting on top of the pile with 400 points. In second is TNR Savvy with 395 points. In third is TNR Captain Slow with 391 points. Fourth is Puma Nutcat with 388 points. And in fifth is TNR Panic Potato, who had to short shift and save that fuel and sunk all the way down into P5 from his initial second position. He has 386 points. Then it's VSR Richard on 384 points, with VSR Giller on 382 points in 7th position. In 8th is VSR Wolfie with 380 points. In 9th is Puma Bridgens with 378 points, and in 10th is MGR Kennels. He has 376 points. And the sole solitary position who survived in Tier 1 for this evening is VSR JDJ with 375 points. Also joint 11th is TNR Ray Carter, who won emphatically in Tier 2 last week, is now promoted to Tier 1 this evening. He also has 375 points. In 13th, we've got TNR Ghost Riders with 374 points, and 14th is VSR Nitro Merlin. He has 371 points, but both of the drivers are down into Tier 2 after finishing 12th and 13th place respectively from round 1. In 15th, we've got TNR Latari with 370 points, and 16th is MGR Rusty with 366 points. As they were promoted up to Tier 1, this is due to them finishing in 2nd and 3rd in Tier 2 last week. Also relegated into Tier 2 this week is Sam Jensen, who had a DNS in round 1, not in the standings as he's yet to score. So just explaining our format for this season in case you are not aware or confused from the standings. So we have a total of 8 rounds this season. However, we have a promotion and relegation system to split this season into 2 halves. The first 3 races, the top 3 from tiers 2 to 7 will be promoted to the tier above after each race. Whilst the bottom 3, 12th, 13th and 14th will be relegated to the tier below. There'll be 1 drop round score for the first 4 races. Your worst point score from the first 4 races will be deducted from your overall points tally, determining which tier you'll be placed for the rest of the season. However, admin does reserve the right to move drivers if absolutely necessary to ensure fairer racing and to benefit the drivers. There'll be an additional dropped round for the second half of the season, the last 4 races, with the same rules applied. Top 3 in each tier come the end of the season will earn a prize, with details to follow in the weeks to come. Okay, so that is all the stats going into round 2 for this evening. So we're going to go for a quick short promo for this season, and then we'll be joining you with the drivers out on circuit as they get prepared for qualifying. Back in a second. SMA is brought to you by Simulator Cave, Postnet Midstream, and Slayer, our official sponsors for SMA Season 2. SMA is brought to you by Simulator Cave, Postnet Midstream, and Slayer, our official sponsors for SMA Season 2. Okay, so the drivers are just putting in their final laps, their final checks ahead of this 10-minute qualifier we have at the high-speed ring. They are driving a completely different car today. It is the G-Ready Fugu Z car. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I did, yeah. Okay, awesome. Yes, a very different type of car that they're using this evening. But Slow-Mo, what are your thoughts on this car? Have you ever driven this car before? And what kind of challenges do you reckon will be posed for the drivers?
I have driven this car. It's fun. It is a powerful vehicle. As I mentioned earlier, it's got the rear-wheel drive. So, the drivers may have to be a little cautious as they're putting the power down coming out of some of the turns here. You got to get it down smooth. If you jump on that throttle too quickly, it could definitely cause you to lose grip, traction, and ultimately positions or seconds.
Right, okay, indeed. Well, the drivers have the initial 35 litres of fuel. This is then for the drivers then to be able to push from the word go. They're also going to be using the racing soft tyres for this car as well. And we are kind of expecting the lap delta to be in the region of the 1 minute 1 minute 15 range, possibly up to 1 minute 16. We'll have to wait and see, but looks like Giller and Wolfie will be working in tandem to try and help each other out. Now, something that you'll probably notice as well is obviously high-speed ring. It's one of them circuits where it's pretty much pedal to the metal for most of its circuit. So do you think slipstream could come into play here?
Not only do I think slipstream is going to come into play, I know slipstream is going to come into play. Don't be surprised to see these guys teaming up a little bit as they get through some of those high-speed sections to try and take advantage of every opportunity they can to use slipstream from the car in front.
Right, indeed. Well, you can see VSR Wolfie just behind Giller, so he has really closed up. So now that they're on their hot laps, it's looking like Wolfie is a little bit quicker than Giller at the moment, using that slipstream to his advantage. And I do wonder whether or not Wolfie will be able to propel himself up into pole position. Now, just before the times come in, I just want to welcome in everyone that's come into the stream. Hopefully you're having a great Monday evening, and do make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already done so. It really does help out the channel as the two VSR drivers come across the start-finish line. And Giller had a 15.0, but Wolfie in the 14s, 14.9. VSR Richard up into pole position, 14.8, but then replaced by Deacon into pole position with a 1 minute 14.228. So the times are coming thick and fast. But Slow-Mo, anything you've noticed so far in qualifying?
Well, these guys are starting out on fire. I mean, as you mentioned, 114 is very fast for this track. So they're putting it all out there right off the bat to try to make sure they secure as good of a starting position as possible, which, if you ask me, I think is absolutely crucial for today's race.
Right, indeed. And something worth mentioning as well, so now there is a possibility of wall riding in this, and it is not to be used at all. So the stewards will be looking out in force to check that the drivers are not infringing the rules by wall riding. So the drivers are going to have to be very, very careful, because we do know with this circuit that the high line is the fastest way around the circuit. So particularly in the last corner and turn 2 as well. So Panic Potato just moving up into P3. He just grabbed a 1 minute 14.6. Nutcap also didn't mention him. He is also in P2 at the moment with a 1 minute 14.5. Now, quite a lot of the drivers have gone back into the pits to change on to new tyres. So we'll see if they go any quicker. But at the moment, the top 6 is as follows. So we've got Deacon in P1, Nutcap in P2, Panic Potato in P3, VS VSR Richard in P4, MGR Rusty in P5, and VSR Wolfie in 6th position. But just looking at the grid at the moment, Slow-Mo, do you think we can see any more changes? Anyone that's looking particularly fast, but just at the sort of bottom end of the timing boards?
Yeah, and you've got the camera on him right now. One guy I've been keeping an eye on was Latari Racing. First of all, the patina on that car is beautiful. Well done on that livery. But we know he's got pace here. I did get a chance to watch him practice a little bit. There's certainly an opportunity for him to get himself a little bit higher in that starting grid position.
Right, okay. Well, we will keep a close eye on him. But I do see a pack of about 3 cars. So it's Puma Bridges actually currently P14 just behind Nutcap as he approaches the start-finish line. Surely he's going to improve here, and he does, up into P7 with a 1 minute 14.998. So good lap there from Puma Bridges. We do have about 4 minutes to run in this 10-minute qualifying session. The times are very, very close right now, as you would expect. The times between the top 10 is between 0.8 of a second, as Captain Slow does improve and move up into, I think it was P12. Let's have a look. And apparently my keyboard not deciding to work there. So
P13.
P13, yeah.
Where Captain Slow is currently at. Yep.
Okay. So let me just sort this out again, because we do want a working keyboard here. So there we go. Now it's working. Now, I do need to address a few of the drivers as well. So we've got Ray Carter, who was winner of Tier 2 last week, promoted into this Tier 1 race today. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of pace he can provide in this Tier 1 race. Now, of course, as we have mentioned before, the bottom 3 drivers, 12th, 13th and 14th, have the chance to be relegated into Tier 2 for next week. There is only 2 more opportunities really to get their promotions and relegations, or not get relegated, should I say. So yeah, it's a vital couple of rounds for the drivers here, and certainly something that's going to be rather intense as Captain Slow does improve. Savvy has improved, but only as far as P13 and still P14 for Captain Slow. So 1.3 seconds down on the 1.3 seconds down on Deacon, in P14. So they've got quite a bit to do there, I think, Mo.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of room to catch up with. Once the race starts, they'll be able to kind of hang with the pack. But it seems like they are just a little bit off the pace of some of our leaders here. Almost a full second there. So that can make a big difference on a short, high-speed track like this.
Okay, and I was just following Nutcap and Panic Potato there, but they've decided to dive into the pit, so we're going to ride on board with Nutcap. It does look like he's got a good tow from Puma Bridges. Nutcap just coming across the line now, 2.7 seconds down, so he will go again and perhaps use Puma Bridges' slipstream to his full advantage to see if he can nip in front of Deacon, who is just under 0.3 of a second quicker right now. Of course, race winner in round 1 of the SMA, and he's looking like he's continuing on that form in similar fashion, I think, Slow-Mo.
I do, yeah. Obviously, we saw Nutcap was a little light on fuel come the end of the last race, so he certainly could have been in a much better position at the end of that race. But I do think we're seeing a new leader start to put his foot down and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take over the top of this board, and you guys are going to have to come catch me.
Yes, indeed. So I'm just trying to find who's just coming across the line now. That is Ray Carter. He's on an out lap with TNR Captain Slow just behind him. He's also on an out lap. We have got, I do believe this will be their final lap of qualifying. So they're really going to have to make this count now. So Ray Carter and Captain Slow will have to work in tandem here. Captain Slow trying the high line at turn 1. Not I don't know if that necessarily is the fastest line in turn 1, but certainly in turn 2, Captain Slow gets in front of Ray Carter. So Ray Carter recognising that Captain Slow was on a bit of a charge there. He is 0.2 of a second up in sector 1. So he does need 1.3 seconds to dekey, but certainly he needs at least, I would say, 5 or 6 tenths of a second if he is going to kind of propel at least into the mid pack. So yeah, Captain Slow knows how important this is. He's only half a tenth up on sector 2, so this is not going to be enough for him. Of course, doesn't have that slipstream of the car in front anymore, so he's not going to be able to gain any extra speed. And as he comes across the line now, we'll keep an eye on Ray Carter and Captain Slow. And Captain Slow comes across the line to set a 1 minute 15.5, goes slower. Ray Carter also going slower. Who else have we got coming across the line? And it's Paddy Potato and Dekey as Dekey goes for a drift across the start-finish line, and it's looking like it's them 3 drivers, Dekey, Nutcap and Paddy Potato, for the podium spots in qualifying. But JDJ P4 now, of course, we know that he had a bit of a horrible race in the last round, came P11. Now JDJ coming around the final corner, looking to make amends with VSR Richard in the background with that penalty. He's not going to go quicker, so JDJ coming across the line now. He's not able to improve, will remain in P4, and it's looking like most of the drivers have set their final lap times. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to get your thoughts on quali slow-mo.
You know, I think you saw the drivers that were paired up with somebody else were really able to put in a nice low 14 and get themselves a great position. Some of the guys, like as I was watching, that were solo just didn't seem to have that same speed down the straight. And it cost them quite a bit. So you'll see some of those guys down at the bottom. Maybe they were running together, or maybe they just didn't quite hit that last turn, which can be key. Getting your speed through that turn, getting your exit just right to come across the line. So really excited to see our 40 laps play out here today.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's have a look on the official qualifying results for Tier 1 in the SMA Season 2 Round 2 at High Speed Ring. So it was TNR Dekey who grabbed the pole position time with a blistering 1 minute 14.228, just under 0.3 of a second quicker than his nearest rival Puma Nutcap, who grabbed a 1 minute 14.521. They'll be starting on the front row. On row 2 is TNR Panic Potato in P3 with a 1 minute 14.565, and then it will be JDJ, of course, of VSR in P4 with that 1 minute 14.669. On row 3, we've then got Giller from VSR as well, so it's an all VSR front. Third row there, with a 1 minute 14.740, with VSR Richard in P6 with a 1 minute 14.839. You can see how tight these times are because there is literally just 100th separating teammates Richard and Wolfie for P6 and P7. Wolfie starting in P7 on row 4, with Puma Racing Fred joining him alongside him in P8 with a 1 minute 14.875. Then on row 5, we've got MGR Rusty with a 1 minute 14.876. So 4 drivers with a 14.8. Phenomenal stuff there, with TNR Latari joining him alongside him in 10th position. On row 6, we've got Kennels with a 1 minute 15.0, and TNR Ray Carter making his debut in Tier 1 this evening. He'll be starting from 12th position. On the final row, we've got TNR Savvy starting from P13, and it will be his teammate TNR's Captain Slow starting at the back of the grid from P14. But not all is lost from Captain Slow, because he did start from P10 the last round, and we know how last race ended up with him finishing on a podium spot. So a long race ahead of us, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this one unfolds. But any early predictions ahead of this race, Slow-Mo?
Wow, so hard to make any predictions at this track. I think we've obviously seen that these guys have very good pace. If you look at the totals, there's less than a second between 1 and P12. So this is going to be very close, too close for me to call to this early.
Yes, indeed. Well, okay. Well, guys, we are going to go for a quick promo break, but when we come back, we'll have the start of the race. In fact, no, I'm not going to, because they've started it already. So let's get the Delta up. Okay, and so it is going to be Deaky and Nutcap starting on the front row as we await the 5 red lights as we start round 2 of the SMA Season 2 Road Rage, and the lights out and we go racing. So Deaky gets an excellent start. Paddy Potato getting a very, very good start, who draws alongside Nutcap and gets in front of him to move up into P2. Nutcap down into P3. JDJ will be challenging him as he goes side by side with him through turn 1, but then tucks back into the slipstream with Nutcap being able to hold on to P3. JDJ P4, Giller in P5, VSR Richard in P6, and Wolfie P7, Bridges P8, and Latari Racing P9 as we go into turn 2 for the first time of asking. And there was 3 abreast just behind with Rusty Kennels and Ray Carter to boot, fighting it out for that P11. But what a fast and frantic start we've had to this race so far, Slow Mo. But what are your thoughts on the start of this race?
Well, the start's so exciting. Love the grid start with the false start check. It gives guys a really good chance to start right from the bat, get a good jump, and get ahead of people. Ray Carter looks like he didn't quite get the start that he wanted, lost a few positions on that. How about going 3 wide through some of these turns? Lots of room for these guys to battle. This is just the beginning of what we're going to see for the remainder of the race.
It is indeed, yeah. The drivers are line astern, but I do see side by side with Nutcap and Deaky, but Deaky able to fight off Nutcap for the time being as he moves up into first position again. And in fact, Paddy Potato down into P6. So what has happened there? Have we missed something? I don't know, because it is still kicking off right now as we go 3 abreast. Just in front, we've got JDJ to the right, Deaky in front in the middle, Nutcap to the left. Nutcap, slight bit of contact with JDJ. And he hits him against the wall. And here comes Giller, who takes full advantage and moves up into the lead of the race. Slow-mo.
Yeah, and you know who has taken the best opportunity? Ray Carter has moved himself up into P8. He can see the lead pack right in front of him. A really good position. Obviously, Deacon's got himself a 1.5 from the wall collision. So plenty of excitement. No lack of excitement through today's race. Trust me.
Yes, indeed. And this is definitely going to be a hard one to keep an eye on, as Nutcap went side by side with VSR Richard, fighting for that P4. Nutcap able to use the slipstream to pull him in front of Richard, who will hold on to P5. Rusty P6, then Ray Carter up into it was P7, but down into P8, but up 4 positions from the last time we saw him. So really benefiting from what happened. And now we've got 3 abreast with Nutcap. It looks like Nutcap is going to hold off Latari Racing for the time being. Puma Bridges up into P4 now. VSR Richard getting the tow from Puma Bridges as we come into turn 2 for the 3rd time of asking. There's a bit of a scraping of the wall from Puma Bridges there, and something that the drivers will have to look out for is the wall riding there. And oh my god, we've got it very, very close as Ray Carter looks to go up the inside. That will be outside for the next turn though. So Ray Carter may be shoveled out the way from Rusty, who has got a nose to the side of him and puts him into the wall, and Rusty up into P6. Ray Carter losing momentum. It's going to be Kennels moves up into P7, and I was trying to save the replay of that epic overtake earlier, but there's so much going on at the moment as Ray Carter scrapes the wall, loses a lot of time and moves down into P10. In fact, P8. Hold on. Ray Carter down into P12, sorry. So losing about 5 positions in one corner, Slow-mo.
Yeah, Rusty also ended up with a 1.5 penalty through that little section there. Probably lost 3 positions as he was trying to get himself back up to speed. So much can happen so quickly here. One little bump into the wall and it can change the results of what this is going to be. So here we watch these guys coming into this turn. Lots of contact we're seeing today. Lots of contact with the other cars. Lots of contact with the other walls. They are keeping us on our toes. I hope you had your coffee today, Flawed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I needed about 5 cups of coffee at this rate. It's literally action galore across the grid right now. I would say Rusty picking up a 1.5 second penalty for hitting the wall, so he will serve that penalty now. He's going to sink all the way down into P12 with Deaky down into P13, something I didn't realise he'd sunk that far down into P13 at the moment with JDJ in P14. So, and also something worth mentioning as well, Deaky has front aero damage, JDJ has front aero damage, so they are going to be losing a heck of a lot of time here in the early embers of this race, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, and Flawed, we just had a position change. Bridgens made a move through the inside on Nutcap through the first turn there. Got himself just about a tenth ahead. So let's see if he's able to hold on to this lead for a few laps. It doesn't seem like the leader is able to hold on to that lead very much today with the slipstream that's going on, but certainly possible that he can keep himself up there for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, we nearly went 3 abreast going into this turn, but it will be Savvy and VSR Wolfie side by side going into the right-hander, turning into the left-hander now, and it's looking like Savvy is going to hold off VSR Wolfie, and Ray Carter comes out of nowhere, up the inside of Wolfie to move up into P9, Wolfie down into P10, Paddy Potato is right there in P11 as well, looking to sweep up if an opportunity does occur. He is right at the back of this slipstream train right now in P11, and yeah, certainly at the moment I don't know where to pay my attention to, because Beamer Bridges is now leading the race ahead of VSR Giller, who now Giller going down the inside. It may well be he inherits the race lead, and indeed he does. Looks like Nutcap is going to move up into P2 as well, so Beamer Bridges losing 2 positions in one corner, sinks down into P3 with Kennels in P4, VSR Richard just behind the P5, Latari Racing in P6, and it's looking like all she wrote for the time being for the top 6, but we have got Savvy Unchained, Wolfie battling out with Captain Slow just behind as well. Captain Slow moves up into P8 and draws up alongside Savvy, who moves temporarily up into P7, but it will be the inside line for Savvy as he fends off Captain Slow for the time being, but they're still going to be side by side as we go through the left hand, and now Savvy just holding off Captain Slow for the time being, but he still has VSR Wolfie just behind him in P9 and Ray Carter in P10, Paddy Potato P11, and we still got to keep an eye on what's going on at the front of the grid as well, with Giller leading the trade now ahead of Nutcap in P2, Puma Bridges still in P3, Kennels P4, VSR Richard P5, Latari P6, and look at the gaggle of cars just behind us. We've got Captain Slow and Savvy Unchained side by side, the 2 TNR drivers, with Captain Slow propelling himself up to P7, but Wolfie grabbing that slipstream, and he will get past Captain Slow with the double overtake into P7, and I mean, Slow-Mo, this is absolutely crazy.
It is. We have a new leader almost every lap. Looks like Nutcap has finally moved himself up into the lead here with Gilla behind him. Puma Bridgens right behind him in third, Kennels in fourth, as you mentioned. These guys are swapping positions faster than we can call it out. Keep your eyes open, because this is only the beginning. We're 7 laps in and 40 laps for our race today here, and these guys are just, I'd imagine they are sweating in their chairs right now.
Yeah, I do believe so. To the point where I'm trying to get the best camera angle for the viewers here, because it's so close that the TV camera not really doing it justice. So I have to stay on board with this bonnet cam, or roof cam as they call it, with Puma Bridges just behind Giller. It looks like Giller has got a good run on Puma Nutcap, and now he's going to draw alongside him as we approach turn 1 on lap 8 of 40. Nutcap is going to pull behind to use that slipstream and try to slingshot his way past VSR Giller. It looks like Giller's kind of blocking him there, because as Nutcap tried to go up the inside, Giller's pulled to the inside, then pulled to the outside as well. And Puma Bridges, well, teammate of Nutcap, not looking to complicate things for Puma Nutcap, and they will remain as they are for the time being. But VSR Richard now just a second behind in P4, but he has got again Latari Racing sniffing his exhaust in P5, with Kennels also on the exhaust of Latari Racing in P6, and then it is VSR Wolfie now up into P7 with Captain Slow in P8 and Ray Carter P9. And well, this is something that we've definitely noticed is the tyre wear now something I wasn't expecting in that dirty air. Actually with Savvy, with the front right tyre actually quite worn, as Ray Carter loses so much time clipping the barrier there, and it's an easy pass from Savvy as he moves up into P9. Ray Carter down into P10. Lucky that there's a bit of a gap to Panic Potato. 1.6 seconds is the gap between them, but we are trying our very hardest to stay up to date with everything in this race, but at the moment it's almost impossible to call right now. Don't you think, Slow-Mo?
I do, as I'm currently watching Kennels take over P4 from Latari Racing. You know, the front, what, 5 drivers seem to be just swapping out positions again with a new lap. There's so many viable lines that these guys can take, depending upon if you've got good slipstream or you're carrying speed through the turn better than the driver in front of you. You know what, I'm a little surprised to see that there is a bit of a spread that you're starting to see from like 6, 7, 8 positions back. Those guys are not out of this race. Keep in mind, you know, pit strategies are going to play into that. So look for somebody to work for their undercut as they start to wear their tires down.
Yes, indeed, and something I'm trying to keep a closer eye on. So all the drivers out there are on the soft tyres now. What I have noticed with the top 3, as the gap starts to come down a little bit, so Puma Bridgens, Giller and Nutcap for the top 3. It does look like they're trying to save their tyres, save a little bit of fuel, as Giller gets a good run on Nutcap as we speak, going through turn 1, and Giller is going to inherit the race lead ahead of Nutcap. Nutcap is going to fall back into P2 as we come into turn number 2. Oh, as there's a little bit of contact between the 2 drivers, and scraping of the wall there as Nutcap flashes his lights, who definitely not happy with the manoeuvre from Giller as he sinks down into P3. Will be P2 as we go into the turn, but it does look like Puma Bridges is going to back off and allow Nutcap back up into P2 as we come through the left-hander for the 10th time of asking. And yeah, you can see the gaps now really shrinking between the top 3 and 4, because Latari Racing has closed that gap to within 2.5 tenths of a second, with Kennels just breathing down his neck in P5. VSR Richard still in the fight here as well in P6, and Kennels is going to pull to the side, and they're going to be side by side as we come down the start finish straight to finish lap 10 and onto lap 11, and Kennels does move himself up into P4 and try to get to the back of Puma Bridges. Now I think the drivers are probably just recognizing that now they are pulled into the fight for the race lead, because now it's about kind of trying to work together to keep the drivers at the top in tow, and scraping of the wall again. And I do feel like, and I'm hoping this is not the case, but I've seen so many scrapes of the wall with the drivers using the high line that I think the stewards are going to have their hands full, I think, Slow-Mo.
Oh, they absolutely are. There's been a lot of wall scraping. It's really hard to prevent as you're trying to carry as much speed as you possibly can through that turn. It's going to happen. So, it's going to be a tough decision for the stewards to make when it comes down to it, as far as where those penalties go, or is everybody going to be in violation at this point?
Yeah, indeed. Well, it's. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the ruling is here, but what I have been told is that if there is any possibility, any indication that the drivers are cheating by doing the wall riding, then they will get penalised. But I mean, at this stage, it's looking like you're going to have to penalise probably about 3/4 of the grid here. So,
right.
so. Yeah,
Flawed, as we're talking, Captain Slow is looking like he's going to make a move here for P7 and try and sneak his nose up past Wolfie. He looked like he may have thought wiser of it, backed out just a little bit. They're going to come into this curvy section here. He's got himself in a very good position, though. You'll see there's probably 3.5 seconds between him and Savvy behind him. So, the lead pack is jammed up here from 1 to P8.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Nutcap, I mean, it was, I'm not exactly sure what happened. I mean, I have seen some of the comments in chat. Now, obviously, it's hard to really prove what happened there, but obviously, Nutcap wasn't happy with that manoeuvre. It's quite rare for him to flash his lights, but it's looking like he's going to pull to the side to overtake Giller and move up into the race lead, although he does back off, actually, and Nutcap may be saving a little bit of fuel. But looking at the tyres, Nutcap has done really well on these soft tyres. If you look at Giller's front right tyre, looking rather worse for wear, and you would say that maybe going into the pits to change off of them soft tyres is imminent as they go side by side down the straight, approaching turn 2. Nutcap is going to have the inside line, which is not always the best line for this corner, but he sweeps in front of Giller as Giller will duke it out with him again to try and fight for the race lead. But Nutcap holding him off for the time being as we go into the braking zone for the right to left hander just before the tunnel, and Nutcap is just about holding off Giller for the time being, but maybe a little bit of a sitting duck as we go down the straight again. But Puma Bridgens has sunk down to P3. His tyre wear not looking that great either in P3. Giller sizing up an opportunity, but I do wonder whether or not he'll be coming into the pits very shortly. Kennel's also not looking good on his tyres. P4, Latari Racing, well, barely anything left on them tyres, and them tyres are going to be screaming for dear life as Captain Slow goes up the inside. It may well be they're diving into the pits, and they are, so he did make the move just before they went into the pit lane with Giller, Bridgens, Latari Racing, Captain Slow, Savvy Unchained, all coming into the pits. Ray Carter also coming into the pits as well, so Nutcap will inherit the race lead on lap 14. The fuel not looking too great, but of course with the tyre wear doing really well in saving them front tyres. He's got a 1.8 second lead over Kennel, so he can breathe a sigh of relief. 2.1 seconds it is now. Kennel's tyres not looking good now with VSR Richie just behind in P3, Wolfie just behind in P4. It looks like Wolfie has saved his tyres somewhat over his teammate Richard, so maybe Wolfie may have slightly better pace at this time. And also something I have noticed is he has saved quite a bit of fuel here as well, just behind Richard. Now we do know that the pit lane loss is roughly I think it's something like 22 seconds, I do believe, might be 25 seconds depending on how much fuel they've put in. Now Giller has returned back on circuit in P5 then. He has got half a tank of fuel with racing soft tyres, so maybe, just maybe, Slow-Mo, he might be on the 2 stopper. And we see VSR Richard, Wolfie and Kennels also come into the pits from P2, 3 and 4 respectively. How is that going to play out as Giller approaches the start finish line, because they're just in the pit lane now. They've got minimal fuel, and the fuel refills very, very quick as VSR Richard, Wolfie and Kennels come out on circuit on the medium tyres, and it's Giller who inherits P2, but where Richard and Wolfie looks like they've got in front of Bridges, but Bridges with the overspeed moves up into P3 with Richard trying to get up to speed now, but Latari Racing whizzes past him with Captain Slow in P4-5, and VSR Richard down into P6 with Wolfie and also Kennels in P8, but different strategies here because the three drivers of Richard, Wolfie and Kennels on the medium tyres with all the in fact no, I am wrong, Latari Racing and Captain Slow on the medium tyres as well, Bridgens on the medium tyres, so it's Giller and Nutcap that are on perhaps different strategy. Well, I don't know actually, maybe Nutcap will go on the medium tyres, but it looks like Giller has decided to go on a different strategy to see if it works for him, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, I'm a little bit stunned with Nutcap showing off his racing IQ here. He's got 26 seconds lead, obviously a pit stop, maybe plus a second or two there over everyone. And if you look at his tires, he has made those tires last very, very well compared to the rest of the field. In addition to his fuel, I would imagine he's going to have to dip into the pits this lap. I don't expect him to run another one based on the fuel he's got, but it is very possible he could stretch one more lap through.
Okay, well, we're just looking on board with Latari Racing now, who leads this train of cars behind all the way down into was it P8, wasn't it, with Kennels at the back of this train, although he has lost a bit of a gap to VSR Wolfie to about 0.8 of a second, but they are a line astern as we go down across the suspension bridge there, and Captain Slow, well, I do wonder what happens here. It's definitely probably a case of cat and mouse games. I think it's kind of who can save some fuel, who can save the tyres, because it's looking like they're going to be on the medium tyres for the rest of the race here, so it's going to be interesting to see how long them medium tyres last, or how much degradation there will be at the end of the race, but yeah, they are, as I say, line astern. It looks like they are trying to work together to try and catch up with the drivers in front and hope that the soft tyres start to die later on in the race. Giller 26 seconds down on Nutcap. Nutcap still yet to pit on this stint here, so it's going to be interesting here, I think, Slow-Mo, because Nutcap running this first stint by an extra, was it 3 laps over most of the grid here, so how is this going to pay off for him later on in the race, do you think?
I think he's got himself in a very, very good position. Like I said, I was shocked that he ran that extra lap based on the fuel that he had, but it seems like his drivers are coming in about a half a tank. Looks like to be the magic number for them. He's obviously has to take on the mediums, so he is going to stretch those mediums out to the end of the race. I cannot imagine him doing the two-stopper, considering the way that he's running the beginning of this race.
Alright, okay, well, something I've just noticed, and I'll get on to a replay now, is Captain Slow. It looks like I've just missed it, but Captain Slow propels himself from P5 up into P3, so looks like he is now going to go on a bit of a charge here, or at least resume the sole responsibility of pushing the train behind him, as Puma Bridges now gets a good run on him, using that slipstream to his advantage as he gets the overspeed down the inside. It looks like Richard is around the outside, so they nearly go 3 abreast, in fact 4 abreast. Let's have a look on board with Latari Racing as we come into this turn now. In fact, VSR Richard, so Captain Slow will defend from Puma Bridges. Oh, it just hits the wall, and Puma Bridges up the inside to move up into B3. VSR Richard getting a great run on Latari Racing as well, who already went past VSR Wolfie. So up into P4 for VSR Richard. Latari Racing deep on the brakes though. We'll have that inside line, and VSR Richard is going to have to leave the space there. Latari Racing obviously is going to have to show him that respect, which he does, and Latari Racing will fall back into P5. So success for VSR Richard as Nutcat comes into the pits from the race lead. Now, how much has he gained or lost here? This is the question as he gets off of them old tyres. Here comes Giller, who just comes across the line to start lap number 19. There is Nutcat just released on circuit. I think Giller is going to take the race lead here with the overspeed. Nutcat down into P2. Yeah, Giller, of course, already up to the 260 kilometer range with Nutcat trying to pick up speed now, but definitely doesn't have the speed on Giller. So the gap is nearly 2 seconds then, but the gap probably more importantly to Nutcat, 2.2 seconds to Puma Bridges as he scrapes the wall on the outside yet again, with Puma Bridges in P3 at the moment, 0.3 of a second in front of VSR Richard, who is holding off VSR Wolfie. Captain slowed down into P6. Latari racing down into P7, and it just shows you, Slow-Mo, when you look away for 1 second, things change in an instant.
They do. And I got to tell you, one thing I'm a little surprised to see, granted, I know that you've got some teams out there. I'm just not seeing as much of the team driving today as I expected to see from these guys. They are out for their positions. It seems like some of these guys are fighting with team members, taking positions over a team member when maybe, it might be a little easier to just tuck back behind them and kind of bide your time. But they are fighting for every position on track today.
Well, something I've just noticed here, Slow-Mo, is, Paddy Potato is going to draw alongside Deaky to move into P10, and Deaky down into P11 with Ray Carter in P12, just 2.5 tenths behind. But a driver I've just noticed that has gone missing is VSR's JDJ. So it looks like JDJ has disconnected. Whether or not it's from internet issues or whether or not he had enough, I don't know. But it's looking like he has gone missing in this race then. He will be the first driver to get relegated into Tier 2 for round 3. And we just see a changing in hands with positionings with Puma Bridgens, who last time we looked at was in P3, now down into P7 with Latari Racing, Captain Slow and Wolfie and Richard getting in front of him now. So again, I keep trying to go through the grid to see where everybody else is, and then it changes. Maybe we need a third camera or something to keep up with this play.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and as I'm watching, Wolfie is going to go ahead and take P3 from Richard, tuck up there. I don't know. Maybe the team strategy is to switch positions every once in a while so you're not stuck in the dirty air and maintain your tire wear. I'm not sure what their approach is, but I'll be excited to get some input from the guys after the race. Wow, look at these guys go. I mean, we have seen a little bit of everything from wall collisions to maybe some questionable maneuvers. These guys are pushing hard today, so we're shaping up for a fantastic finish to today's race.
Yeah, we are indeed. And something that's slightly surprised me here was the battle of positions in this pack, because I really was I guess hoping for their sake that if they worked together they would have minimalized, I struggled with that word last week, where they try not to lose too much time to catch up to the drivers in front, with Nutcap in P2 who is on his own. But let's just see how much closer he's got to Giller. So the gap has come down to 1.8 seconds to Giller, and of course we know with Nutcap he's on the racing medium tyres, Giller is on the soft tyres. Now it's looking like with Giller, with quite a bit of degradation to his front right tyre, that he may need to stop again, maybe performing the two-stopper here. So Nutcap in prime position here to take the race win, I think. But of course a lot can happen. We've just got past the halfway mark in this race, and it's Bridges who look to go up the inside. That's not the optimal line for that turn, and actually losing out to Latari Racing, who pushes his way past into P4 with VSR Richard getting the overspeed as well, and Puma Bridges down into P6 again. So we're going to have a look on the replay quickly just to see exactly what happened there. So if we can get the right camera on board here. So Puma Bridgens was on the... Oh, to be honest... you could almost say maybe not intentionally, but blocking Latari, and he got hit there onto the wall and losing a bit of time. Lucky not to really pick up damage there, but yeah, it's certainly very, very tight as Puma Bridgens goes side by side with VSR Richard, who is looking to propel himself. VSR Wolfie just showing his hand as well as he goes up the inside of Puma Bridgens. He'll be fighting it out for that 6th position. Can he make it work? Let's have a look now as we've got VSR Richard and VSR Richard going in front of Captain Slow. Captain Slow has got the outside line. Bridgens is going to have to take the inside line. Captain Slow scraping the wall with Latari racing around the outside to move up into P5. Puma Bridgens up into P6. Down into P6 with Kennels in P7. VSR Wolfie in P... Oh, God! And a bit of sideways action from Kennels as we went back on board with him there. Was there a little bit of contact there, Slow-Mo?
There was. It looked like Wolfie got a little tap as he lost traction and speed there. Kennels was maybe just trying to get the power down a little too quick, slipped out a little bit. Wolfie touched him, but no harm, no foul as it appears.
Right, okay, we're going to get a quick replay, although Wolfie's looking like he's hot on his heels right now, but we look on board with Kennels then, we'll see if anything did happen. And as we went too wide, it looks like Kennels just went a little bit sideways, maybe got on the brakes a little bit too late, and that unsettled the car. Lucky that he wasn't losing a position there, although he has lost that position now to VSR Wolfie, who now takes his 7th position away from him, moving him down into P8. But it's looking like very, very close yet again between the 4 drivers of Richard, Captain Slow, Latari Racing and Puma Bridgens, fighting it out for that last step on the podium. We will come back to them because I want to see where Nutcap is. Looks like he's really closed that gap then to Giller, to 1.4 seconds, as it looks like Giller's tyres are starting to fall off a cliff. Nutcap in a very, very good position here, knowing that he can just, keep it simple, keep it on this strat, save them tyres, saving that fuel with a 4.6 second lead over Captain Slow, who is now moved himself up into P3 because Latari Racing now up into P4. VSR Richard down into P5. Puma Bridgens in P6. VSR Wolfie P7 and Kennels at the back in P8. But yeah, I can't take my eyes off of this. I do want to have a look at the rest of the grid. I mean, is there anything you're noticing towards the end of the grid as Latari propels himself up into P3, getting the overspeed over Captain Slow, with Captain Slow falling back into P4. But is there anything you've noticed behind, any key battles going on?
No, not at the moment. They're a little bit more spaced out as you get past this train of cars that we're watching here from 4 to what, 9? 8 maybe. Yeah, number 9 is Savvy, which is a ways back from them. So this is this is where the action is. I am a little bit surprised that you're starting to see Nutcap and Gilla really gain some speed and start to pull away, but Gilla seems to be losing Delta to Nutcap. So do not be surprised if we see a position change for the lead here in the next few laps. It looks like Nutcap now has his sights set on Gilla for that lead.
Okay, well, just an update to proceedings as well. So we just see Deacon take the inside line to move past Deacon into P9, Savvy Unchained P10 and Paddy Potato P11. It looks like Gilla has come into the pits from the race lead then to get off of them worn soft tyres then. That is going to sink him all the way down the grid. And, well, actually, it puts him in the relegation place. So I was just about to comment and say that it's looking like Ray Carter is in the drop zone, but Gilla now coming off them. Wow, and of course he did have to take the medium tyres, so he's going to use the medium tyres for 14 laps, but he's 7.9 seconds adrift of Ray Carter, so that could have been a horrible decision from Gilla to go on the 2-stopper there, Slow-Mo. I
was surprised to see anybody run that 2-stop strategy. I think went softs, and then now going to finish on mediums. Maybe not the play I would have chose, but let's see how it works out. There's a lot of racing left. Maybe he can get that ground made up and keep himself here in the first split.
Okay, well, 14 laps to go. Rusty also looking like he's cut adrift from the rest of the drivers in P13. So it's looking like his Tier 1 adventure will come to a bitter end there, to be honest. But Captain Slow leading the train then in P2 now. So Captain Slow, can he hold on to that P2, or will Puma Bridgens say something about that? Because Puma Bridgens has now assumed that second position ahead of Captain Slow, moving down to P3. VSR Richard in P4, Latari Racing just behind in P5, VSR Wolfie just behind also in P6. Oh, it's a little bit of a scraping of the side of the car onto the barrier yet again, and it's looking like Captain Slow is going to defend for his life ahead of Puma Bridgens, who will tuck in back in P3. VSR Richard still in this fight as well, and there is literally a second separating the five drivers, with it's Kennels just to the back of them in P7. So it is so tight. This is so difficult to call at this stage. It's looking like one driver is stronger than the other, but it really does change in an instant. But we've got 13 laps left to go. But have you noticed anything with the tyres or the fuel situation that may be different from each of the cars there, Slow-Mo?
Ironically, Flawed, as I go through the grid, the fuel for most of these guys looks like it's pretty much at the same level. They're about down to a quarter of a tank. As far as tire wear goes, those mediums are starting to wear. I think you'll see Ray Carter's got a little bit more wear than some of the other folks. Obviously, Gilla's on a fresh set of mediums, and then Rusty has pretty good tires at this point as well. So, as we see a little bit of action going on right here with the front group, Flawed, one thing that surprises me, when I'm in a race like this, I'm trying to exercise patience, wait for my time, keep myself in a good position. There is none of that today. These guys want the position, and they want it.
They do indeed, and I think we'll save that replay as well, as Kennels now moves himself into P2, just manages to get in front of TNR, Captain Slow and Puma Bridgens. We'll have a quick look on that replay, because that was quite a slick move there from Kennels as he went through the middle of the two drivers, and then he got deep on the brakes, which would then be for him to hold on to that inside line as he goes a little bit sideways in the entrance of the corner, but he did move up into P2. However, there could be a changing of hands in the second position there, because of course they are fighting tooth and nail on a lap-to-lap basis. Now, there's a slight bit of contact, or maybe pushing, I'm not 100% sure. He did kind of back off of the gas as he approached Captain Slow, but yeah, Kennels just behind Captain Slow. He of course inherits P2 at the moment. He's got the inside line for this next turn, but Kennels is going to try and go as deep as possible to maybe try and take that inside line, but fails to do so. And Captain Slow, oh no, he does leave the door open as he goes a little bit wide, but Kennels, I think if I was him, probably just sink a little bit further down, get back into that slipstream and try to overtake him down the straight. But P2 and P3 respectively for the pair of the drivers, but Nutcap in a prime position to take the race victory. 6.3 seconds is the lead, and the drivers are nowhere in sight, although the gap has come down to 6.1 seconds. However, 6 seconds now, so Nutcap probably doing a little bit of fuel saving and stuff. I'm just trying to look at the delta, but yeah, Nutcap doing a fantastic job in preserving them tyres, and the fuel is also looking pretty good as we go almost 3 abreast, and it looks like VSR Wolfie is trying to propel himself up the grid order. Captain Slow P3 as he goes a little bit wide, and VSR Wolfie is going to carry more speed into the turn down the inside, moves up into P3. Latari Racing following suit as well, moves up into P4, so in one corner losing out on 2 positions for Captain Slow as he sinks down into P5, and then we've got VSR Richard just behind him as well, who is looking to apply the mental games on Captain Slow as he tries to stick a nose up the inside, but will hold on to 6th position for the time being, with Puma Bridges all over his rear side bumper in P7. But Deacon up into P8 with Panic Potato just behind him in P9. Now 4 seconds adrift of Puma Bridges, so they are starting to catch up with the drivers in front, but whether or not that is enough time to catch up or not, only time will tell. Savvy in P10 as well, who is not, I don't think he's in that slipstream, no, just outside as Panic Potato pulls to the inside to move in front of Deaky into P9. But what they're trying to do here is try to work in tandem to sort of overtake each other, give each other the slipstream, don't battle into the corners, and see if they can close the gap in time to the drivers in front. But now looking back on board with Puma Bridges, and you can still see they're battling here. VSR Richard just behind Latari Racing in P5, Captain Slow up into P4, Kennels P3, and VSR Wolfie now in 2nd position. This is going to be so difficult to predict ahead of time here, Slow-Mo. I mean, if you was a gambling guy now, I mean, what would be your top 3?
You know, to be honest with you, and I am a gambling man, I like Latari Racing. He's been a little bit patient. He's kind of been back out of the mix. It looks like he's biding his time, waiting for that right opportunity, just staying with the pack, keeping with that front pack. And I think he's got a really good opportunity to slingshot himself up into 3rd position, maybe 2nd. Depending upon how it works out. Beyond that, I really like Captain Slow. I think he's been doing a really good job battling, keeping himself relevant and keeping himself in the mix.
Yes, indeed. As it looks like Captain Slow sticking to Kennels like glue, but Latari Racing gets a good run on VSR Wolfie, but applies the brakes a little bit early to try and preserve his 6th position and try not to battle it out. But there's Puma Bridges. It's VSR Richard down the inside, takes full advantage as Latari Racing backed off and moves himself up into P5. I'm going to have a quick look on that manoeuvre from VSR Richard, because I did not see that coming. So here is VSR Richard, and as they slowed up, and a concertina effect between VSR Wolfie, Captain Slow and Latari Racing, and VSR Richard said thank you very much, took the inside line and moved up into P5.
Yeah, Flawed, you know, one other thing of note here, it looks like Gilla has got himself up into P12. So maybe that 2-stop strategy is not playing out quite as badly as we expected. He's been able to really gain a little bit of ground on some of those folks. He got by Rusty about a lap ago, and he's about 2.5 seconds back from Ray, but he is closing. He's got a very good tire advantage on him, and looks like he's got plenty of fuel to make it to the end.
Right, okay, yeah, you brought up a very interesting point now. Obviously, looking at Ray Carter's times, if you look at his delta, he's been getting the 16s and the 17s in the last sort of 10 laps. When you look at Gilla, though, his lap delta, he's consistently in the 1:15. So Gilla certainly is a man on the charge. Rusty is a lap down, actually, from Gilla. I do believe, isn't that correct, I think? Yeah, because the lap delta is not coming up. So I do believe Rusty is a lap down. Leagues apart from Gilla there. So Gilla, yes, if the... if there's ever a chance to try and catch up and to remain in Tier 1, the time is now. Really needs to put in some seriously fast lap times, be consistent, which he literally has done, and look to power past Ray Carter before we get to lap 40. We've got 7 laps remaining, so it's certainly going to be nip and tuck between the two drivers, as the gap has come down to 1.8 seconds, and it is still coming down as well. So there could be a move done in the next lap or two, with Deacon still 3.4 seconds down on Puma Bridgens, who is working in tandem with Panic Potato in P9 and Savvy in P10. Puma Bridgens still at the back of this train with VSR Richard now down into P6, and Kennels up into P5. We've got side by side with Latari and it was side by side between Latari and Captain Slow. Captain Slow just behind VSR Wolfie, who is still in P2, who has resumed that responsibility to pull the cars behind along there. So the gap is still 6.7 seconds between Wolfie and Puma Nutcap. So Nutcap in a very, very comfortable position. He's been running 1 minute 16s consistently, with the train behind also in that kind of lap delta range. It's looking like unless there's a catastrophic mistake from Nutcap, he may well be the winner in round 2 of the SMA Season 2 Championship, with now Captain Slow now joining alongside Wolfie, trying to make his mark here, and moves up into P2 then ahead of VSR Wolfie, with Kennels breathing down his neck. In fact, joining alongside Wolfie with the outside line. Kennels is going to be in a bit of a vulnerable position, I feel, although he tucks back in to go onto the outside line behind Wolfie, then switches to the inside. There's a slight bit of contact and pushes Wolfie onto the wall there. Lucky not to pick up damage to the pair of them as Latari Racing goes up the inside. That will turn into the outside line, so I'm not sure if Latari Racing is going to be able to hold on to that 4th position. I think Kennels is favourite to retake 4th position, but they are going to be side by side as we go through the turn. And actually, Kennels down into P5, then Latari Racing will hold on to P4. Wolfie 3/10 of a second in front, but Captain Slow leading this train of cars as we're just about to end 35 laps around the high speed ring with 5 laps to go. It's certainly going to be tight between the 5 drivers here, and we just don't know which way this is going to go.
Yeah, so I do not count out Puma Bridgens at this point. You know, he is in this in the back of this little pack that's going here. He certainly has plenty of time and opportunity to get himself up into either that 2nd or 3rd position before this race is over. So obviously we're going to keep a close eye on these guys as they're going to come into this turn 2 wide. No, they single file out just a little bit and start to spread out. There goes Puma, who's going to get past Kennels, get himself up into P6 and try to hunt down either Captain Slow or Wolfie if he can. He's got Richard in his way, but you know, being back in the pack like this, he's in a great position to use the slipstream and really move himself up through the next 3-4 laps.
Yes, and something I've just seen, and you may have seen it in the background as well. So just behind Kennels is now Deacon. 1.5 seconds is the gap. It's looking like both TNR drivers of Deacon and Panic Potato are, you know, as I mentioned a few laps ago, trying to work in tandem to try and catch up with the pack in front. And we saw a changing of hands of the position.
P10, Latari had a spin. P10, Latari lost control of the vehicle. He's got some damage. He's going to go into the pits and get that repaired. I don't know if we're able to get a replay. A little late on the call there, but we might get to see it. There he goes. He comes around the turn, and I don't know if there was contact or he just lost grip, but that back end slid out, and he ended up into the wall.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can see it again. I'll try to get the right angle there. There may have been a slight bit of contact, but I don't know if there was anything that Captain Slow could do at that stage there. Yeah, very unfortunate there for Latari. And of course, Latari coming into the pit lane, I think to change onto new tyres, maybe try to fix the damage. He is now in the drop zone, 24.3 seconds behind, with a 4.5 second penalty as well, just to make matters even worse. And it's now looking like Latari Racing will get relegated into Tier 2, with RSA Rusty joining him in Tier 2 for next week, but maybe something that the stewards may need to have a look at, because from that angle I couldn't really see if there was any fault of the drivers behind, but it may well be that Latari, because of that incident, finds himself down a division come next week, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it looks like the pack that we've been watching so closely, 2 through 7, is actually starting to single file line out a little bit. So there is still a couple laps left for these guys to swap positions. But you'll see that, you know, TNR, Captain Slow, Panic Potato, and Deacon are in the back of that pack. So working together as a team, they might be able to take some of those positions away from the gentleman in front of them.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, certainly going to be a very exciting last couple of laps, that is for sure. We didn't expect that Panic Potato and Deacon were going to close up that quickly. It was definitely going to be nip and tuck, but they are well in the fight now. Now, of course, with the tyre situation, we do see with Panic Potato, he doesn't have too much left on them racing medium tyres. Now, we don't know whether or not he's putting enough fuel this time around, as he does pull to the side, and he gets in front of Captain Slow to move up into P5. Is Deacon going to follow suit? It could well be the case here, because he is firmly in that slipstream of Captain Slow, and that is going to pull him alongside, and he may have timed this to absolute perfection, because he drives up alongside him and powers past Captain Slow to move up into P6. Captain Slow must be very low on fuel then, because it looks like he's going a little bit slower than the rest of the drivers. So Panic Potato, don't rule him out on getting a podium spot here. We're on the penultimate lap of the race, but with the gaps so close together, and it looks like Panic Potato is pushing to the absolute limit, with VSR Richie just in front of him and Kennels to boot as well. The fuel situation very, very tight, but anything can happen in the final embers of this race, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Richard has gotten front end damage somewhere along the lines, so that may slow him down just a little bit, giving Panic Potato a great opportunity to make a last minute move and get himself up towards that podium position for number 3. Whether he'll be able to get past Kennels, I can't say just yet, but we're about to find out.
We're indeed about to find out, yes, because there goes Panic Potato around the outside into P4. He's still going to have the overspeed as well on Kennels, so Kennels is going to be a little bit of a sitting duck as Deacon goes down the inside of VSR Richard to move up into P5. There comes the TNR drivers of Panic Potato and Deacon. They've also got the outside line as well with Kennels. Oh, he goes a bit sideways with the contact, and there goes around Kennels, and he loses 3 positions there, maybe 4 positions, to move down into P7. Let's have a quick look on the replay and see exactly what happened, but it looks a little bit unfortunate. We go on board with Deaky right now, and with them going into the braking zone, there was a tiniest bit of contact, and Kennels, I think, couldn't save the car there. So we'll go back on board with the race here, because we're in the dying embers. Panic Potato up into P3, Deacon into P4. Can Deacon salvage a podium position, because Nutcap is going to come across the line to win round 2 of the SMA Season 2 at High Speed Ring, with VSR Wolfie just in front. He's going to get P2 ahead of Panic Potato. Is going to come in P3 with Deacon in P4, VSR Richard in P5, and TNR's Captain Slow in P6, and Kennels comes across the line in P7 with Puma Bridges in P8. Savvy looks like he has salvaged a P9 for him, and Giller is going to stay in Tier 1 for round 3 with a 10th position finish. Ray Carter, the last driver to come across the line to stay in Tier 1 for round 3, and Latari Racing, unfortunately, will be down into Tier 2 as of round 3, with RSA Rusty joining him and VSR's JDJ down into Tier 2 for round 3, and that'll be their last opportunity to get themselves back up into Tier 1. But what a fantastic ending that was.
Wow.
SMA is brought to you by Simulator Cave, Postnet Midstream, and Slayer, our official sponsors for SMA Season 2. Okay, so we will get the thoughts of Slow-Mo in a bit, but just to confirm, well, the provisional race results, because right now we just don't know what's going to happen pre or post race with the stewards' inquiries, but what we can say right now is that Nutcap grabs his first victory of the season with an emphatic victory for our 14-year-old wonder kid, with the fastest lap time as well, with a 1 minute 14.696. He finished 9.4 seconds ahead of the rest, with VSR Wolfie occupying that second position, just a couple of tenths over Panic Potato, who just came from absolutely nowhere to finish on podium in P3. Then Deacon also just behind him as well in P4. It was an excellent recovery job from him to finish as high up as P4. VSR Richard comes home in P5 ahead of TNR's Captain Slow in P6. Then it was Kennels in P7, with Puma Bridgens grabbing a top 8 position. In ninth was Savvy Unchained, and 10th was VSR Giller, and Ray Carter getting that solitary last position to remain in Tier 1 for next week. He finishes in P11. Then it was Latari Racing who had that unfortunate moment in the dying embers of the race. If things stay how they stay, if things stay how they stand right now, he'll be relegated into Tier 2 for next week, with RSA Rusty also joining him and VSR JDJ. But Slow-Mo, what a crazy race that was. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, crazy doesn't even touch on it. That was incredible to see. Deacon, for example, who started on pole, ended up not even with a podium position. You look at Nutcap, who had a very good starting position with P2, able to show his racing IQ and bring home the win today. Another honorary mention goes to Captain Slow, who had a much lower starting position as he started off in P14 after qualifying, moved himself all the way up to P6. So like I said before the race, there was so much shuffling going on throughout today. The starting grid positions were very important, but it turned out that these guys were battling for every single position throughout today's race, as we expected them to. Very, very close, tight racing. Man, they put it all out on the table today.
Yes, they certainly did. And yes, we are going to interview the top 3 drivers very, very shortly in Nutcap, VSR Wolfie and Panic Potato. It's going to be so interesting to get their thoughts. And I'm pretty sure myself and Slow-Mo have got many questions to fire at them with the events from this race. So we're going to go for a short break. So enjoy the intro and the promo, and we'll be back very, very shortly with the interviews. Back in a second.
Season 2, Road Rage, Race for Glory, Sim Motorsport Association, growing the sport together.
SMA is brought to you by Simulator Cave, Postnet Midstream, and Slayer, our official sponsors for SMA Season 2. Okay, so we are back for the driver interviews, and what a unbelievable race that was. Just absolute craziness. I hope our top three drivers are well prepared, because I think they're going to have quite a number of questions to answer today. But we are going to start off with Panic Potato, who I don't know how he did it, but Panic Potato managed to grab himself a third position in the end. Yeah, I mean, my first question really, Panic Potato, congratulations on that third position, but from where you was, near the back of the grid to come P3, you must be feeling on top of the world. But tell us your thoughts, please.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm ecstatic after that one. I think it was lap 2, chaos into turn 2, damage, and then I tried to carry that out throughout the whole soft stint because I knew the medium tires were going to struggle, or if I tried to do a 2-stop, my race was just over from there. And then Deaky and I came out pretty much equal after our pit stops because he had slightly less damage than what I did, and then we managed to work together quite nicely there throughout the race. And mega drive to Deaky as well. Must say a massive thank you to him. We worked very nicely together there, and great race.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, definitely a tale of different emotions, I think. But what I was going to ask, actually, Panic Potato, so something I didn't really see was at the start of the race, obviously you started high up the grid, and then all of a sudden I see you just sinking down. So tell us exactly what happened and how you managed to find yourself towards the back of the grid.
I'll have to check the replay on that one. I don't know exactly what happened, but I saw that there was contact up ahead, and then Deaky ended up wall riding pretty much, but he was facing the wrong way. And then I tried to avoid him, and then I realized I couldn't move to the left because there was someone blocking me there, so I kind of had to just hit Deaky. And then I got hit from behind and then sort of spun me around, but then I caught it and it was just damage after that. And then with the damage, I think I was heading about 3 seconds a lap slower times, and then I lost the slipstream, so it was just all downhill from there.
Oh, damn. Okay, yeah, I mean, that would explain why you was losing so much time. Now, of course, we know that the strategy was, I suppose, quite simple. It was either a 1 or a 2 stopper. Once you picked up that damage, did you feel like I really need to change up my strategy here, or was it just a case of just going as planned and hoping that you could rise up the grid later on in the race?
Well, I did change the strategy a little bit. We put it on lap 11, which was about 5 laps earlier than we wanted to, because there was no real option of going longer on the softs because we were just losing too much time. So we decided that we were just going to move over to the medium tires and just back off a little bit to try and make them last to the end. And I think we did pretty well to manage our tires to last almost 30 laps there. So it was pretty much the same strategy call, but we did have to bring it forward quite a bit, and it did hurt a lot.
Well, thankfully this time you put the correct amount of fuel in this time that you was able to push at the end there. It was a fantastic performance from you in the end. And just a massive congratulations, because at one point I really didn't think you was going to have the greatest of results. So to get P3, absolutely fantastic for you. Slow-mo, any questions for Panic Potato at all?
Well, first of all, Panic, congratulations on that podium finish. That race was berserk. I mean, there was so many position changes. How important was it to have a teammate to be able to work with through today's race?
It was a make or break situation. If I didn't have anyone around me, I would have been dead lost completely. The slipstream was just too powerful today. It in race trim, it was worth probably close to about a second a lap. Because when Nutcap was out by himself, DK and I were catching him. It wasn't a crazy amount because he had some really good pace, but then the pack in front of us, we were catching easily a second a lap on them. So if I didn't have a teammate around me, I wouldn't have been able to make a comeback at all.
Yeah, very, very strong race for you. Obviously we saw through qualifying that you had pace, to be in contention for the lead. A little challenge in the early portion of the race. As you were getting down through your strategy towards the last maybe 8 laps or so, did you feel like you might have enough to catch back up to Nutcap? I know that Delta wasn't moving a lot, but it did move.
No, we knew Nutcap was out of the equation. I don't think anyone was catching him with the amount of fighting that was happening up in front. But we were definitely eyeing our pace towards the front pack. I think it was a pack of 6 or 7 drivers in front of us. We knew that we could catch up to them. It was just about how we're going to work our way through them with our damaged tires compared to their much fresher tires. So that was the only big issue for us. But I mean, it worked out quite well for both of us. We were far enough back that we could kind of just slingshot past each and every single one of them. So I think that was their biggest downfall.
Yeah, the slingshot proved to be absolutely amazing for you guys. Well done with your P3 finish. That was absolutely exciting to watch. So thank you for putting on a great show for us today.
Oh, thank you, man. Much appreciated. And thank you to both yourself and Flawed for what I'm sure is an amazing stream. I will be watching that one back. I don't think I can give that one a skip. And GG to Nutcap and Wolfie there, because they had great races as well.
Yes, definitely one not to be missed. I mean, I think, there was action literally everywhere in the grid that it was very difficult to stay on top of everything, and regretfully did kind of miss what happened to you at the start, but definitely don't miss it. And for those that are watching on the past broadcast, do make sure you hit that like button as well, because this is certainly a race that is up there for SMA, as they always are, as you know, Dylan.
Oh yeah, every single race. I mean, I joined in the MSA Cup last year, which is part of SMA, and every single race has been absolutely fantastic.
Yes, indeed. Well, congratulations again on 3rd position, and let's hope for maybe less drama for you in round 3.
Yeah, we can hope. Both of these first 2 rounds have not been the most straightforward, but we pushed through.
Excellent stuff. Well, thank you very much for your time, Pan Potato, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Well done.
Thank you. And on to our 2nd place finisher. And good to see him back in the interview room. We have got VSR Wolfie with an excellent performance, 2nd position. How are you feeling after that one?
How's it, guys? Stoked. Very happy to get a P2. Good to be back on the podium. My social life and work schedule is not allowing me to practice a lot, so I've been struggling of late. But happy with the results and happy to just be back on the podium.
Yes, indeed. And I'm going to have to ask the question to you then. So, Wolfie, I mean, did this race go to plan for you? I mean, in terms of the kind of manoeuvres, the incidents that happened in the race, did you feel like you was confident ahead of this round?
No, to be honest with you, we know it was going to be a bit of a mess. The guys are not used to working together. It's weird. Myself and Richard 3 or 4 times actually dropped back of the 4 guys that we were racing and fall back behind them, just to get some consistency and save our tires a bit, because it's like everybody's just overtaking everybody at every corner they get the chance to. So I tried to stick behind Richard for most of the race. We worked together quite well in between the chaos. Turn 2 was an absolute disaster. The guys hitting the wall every single time, and if you're in front, you can't brake early to take your line because somebody smacks you from the back. So it was a challenging race. Didn't at all go to plan. Our lap times were way off what it was in practice. And I actually feel quite bad for Branagh. He made a mistake in the pits and he selected tires too fast and he selected the incorrect tires. Otherwise, he would have been on the podium tonight. So, it's bad for him, but we made the best of it. I think that's racing. It doesn't always go to plan, and you have to deal with what you have on track. The start was a disaster for me. I was right at the back of the pack for a long time. And I just had to stay calm and follow them through. I was saving tires all the way just to make sure that in the end, when the other guys, the tires start to fall off, that we just got some bit of grip in that S's in the second corner just to pull a bit of a gap. And it worked out for me. Too bad Richard got a bit of damage as well. Otherwise, he might have been on P3, but yeah, that's how it goes.
Well, I appreciate you for letting us know about Giller, because we did feel in the commentary box that it was a strange decision from him, being so high up and challenging for the race victory. And then, it was kind of, it kind of clears it up now that he just clicked the wrong tyres there. So, a little bit unlucky for him, but, he made a great fight back in the end to remain in Tier 1 for next week. But, Wolfie, I mean, what can I say? I suppose one of my last questions to you is, so we saw that Puma Nutcap was doing a lot of fuel saving, a lot of saving of the tyres. So when he came out on track, was you confident that you could catch up with him, or was it kind of like, as you said, the constant battling between the group of you that it was never going to happen?
No, it was never going to happen. If we had a bit of clear air, we definitely had a chance. I mean, Diki and Panic caught up like 11 seconds, and we were constantly watching that gap in the back, and we knew they were working together and they had clean air. So they obviously had the pace that we wanted to have. If everybody in our pack just sort of fell in line and just worked together, we might have caught up. But it's like the guys didn't want to work together. We had a few times to just you had to have eyes in the back of your head, the sides, the front, and you had to have eyes everywhere. So it was an interesting battle. I don't know how I actually managed to slowly work my way up to second, but it all worked out in the end. It was just, you had to stay calm all the time because the guys were just diving in left and right. So it was interesting, but it's all part of racing. Let's hope the next race is a bit calmer, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, and as I said, sorry for Branagh, because he had real good pace tonight and he had a good strat and he was on form. But that's also part of racing. So we just have to focus on the next round and fix whatever errors we made and do better in the next round.
Yes, indeed. And obviously congratulations to you for kind of like withstanding that pressure and making sure that you was in that prime position to finish in P2. So congratulations on the great performance from you, Wolfie. And Slow-Mo, any questions for Wolfie at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Wolfie, first of all, congratulations on that P2 finish. As we were, coming out of qualifying, you had VSR 4, 5, 6, and 7. I honestly expected to watch you guys as a pack really just kind of drive through and get back up to the front. We talked about some of the challenges that your team faced. You and Richard did a real good job working together, but maybe one of the most exciting / aggressive races I've seen in such a long time. You talked a little bit about the pace you had in practice versus the pace that you had on today's race. Do you think that had you have had your whole team with you towards the end, that it would have been a different result?
Yeah, I think so. Even if we could just manage a bit of clear air, just two together. If JDJ didn't spin out in the beginning, and him and Branagh could stick together at the front, they would have been very difficult to catch because our pace was really fast in practice. And then if myself and Richard had a bit of space, it would have worked out better for us. I mean, in going into the second corner, sometimes you brake 200 meters early, or you got off the power 300 meters off before the braking area just to make sure you get through the corner cleanly. So it was a bit frustrating, but I mean, yeah, if we were together, all four of us, that would have helped. But that start is just too hectic. The run down to the second corner, we actually said to each other in practice that quali doesn't actually matter. You can qualify anywhere in the pack. You can be stone last and you can be third into the second corner. You know, quali wasn't that important tonight. You could have been anywhere on the grid. Actually, to be at the back, I think was actually a bit of advantages. You know, just to go through there safely. But yeah, we managed to get a podium at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, as Flawed and I were doing everything in our power to be able to keep up with the action that was going on track, you talked about, you know, turn two being probably one of the bigger challenges that we saw for a lot of drivers. You know, as you're going into turn two, you're coming down on the last couple laps. You know, for me, I've always been one of those guys that likes to be behind folks to be able to try and make a comeback. You weren't necessarily in that position. You you were doing everything you can to make that car wide. So tell us a little bit about some of the things going through your head in those last couple laps.
Yeah, so I was obviously trying to save my tires as much as possible on the early parts of the last stint. And we actually targeted, in my head, I actually targeted the last 6-7 laps to start making a move, because the way they were battling each other and the way they were taking the S's, they were just destroying their tires. And when I got that little gap, I just made sure the whole race, my focus was just not to hit that wall on turn two. I don't think I touched that wall once throughout the whole race, so I was stoked about that. And anyways, and I just saw when Kennels was behind me and we took that last 4 laps or so, in turn two I could actually pull 2.2, 0.3 out of him, and then hitting the S's I took another 0.2, 0.3, increase it to about 0.9, close to second, and then you had to just check the slip on the straight and make sure that you get away. I think the tires was what saved me there. So the tire strat was good. You know, just making sure that the tires lasted a long time. That was the ace up my sleeve for the end of the race there, just to make sure I got that, you know, that final crucial move done.
Yeah, absolutely. One last question for you. So as you know, you guys were getting into the pits and you know, running through your strategy, as you see, Nutcap was out there for at least 2, maybe 3 more laps beyond when you guys pit. You know, did you start to think, well, maybe we'll be able to drive by him, or was that pretty much the point where you were focused on P2?
No, I think, as I said, that the tire strat didn't go to plan because of the battling. So we actually pitted 3 laps earlier than we wanted to pit, but we had to because the pace was just shocking at that point in time because all our tires was knackered. So we had to pit at that point in time, and we hoped that maybe something would happen for those guys on the outlap. So we sticked 1 lap longer with the hope that they would have battled each other on the outlap or something, and somehow we could just get a little gap on them. Then P1 was definitely on the cards to go and fight for it, because Nutcap was on his own. If you've got a teammate working with you, you gain so much time, like Diki and Panic Potato proved tonight. So yeah, actually, when we came out of the pits, we knew it was going to be a tough fight to the end, and we sort of had to start managing that gap to Panic and Diki. So yeah, it was tricky. I must say, you didn't know at one stage, you never knew how to play out. It was just absolutely lap by lap, rolling, you know, playing the lottery. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know my blood pressure was up just watching. I can only imagine what it was like to be in race. Excellent race today, Wolfie. Congratulations on your P2.
Thanks, guys. Much appreciated. And then well done to Nutcap and Panic Potato on the podium. Well done, guys. Good race. And thanks to everyone for making it such a success. And for you guys that's doing the stream, thanks for your time and your effort. We appreciate it. You guys make this a hell of a lot of fun.
You're very welcome. It's honestly, I think Slow-Mo can agree with me that it's always edge of your seat action in the SMA. So, you know, We do the easy job as commentators. You guys put in the time and really put a show on for us. So congratulations to you, Wolfie, on that second position. It was a fantastic performance from you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Let's hope I'll be back here soon.
Let's hope so. Fingers crossed for you, and good luck in round 3.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Wolfie. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so now it is time to congratulate our race winner. Good to see him back, not only in the interview room, but also on fine form as well. So big congratulations to Puma Nutcap on that race victory. How are you feeling after that one?
I'm feeling obviously pretty happy because my first win, and I drove, other than that one mistake on the second lap, other than that, I didn't put a foot wrong, no penalties. I was keeping the lap times consistent, just saving fuel, saving tires. I knew I just had to keep it consistent, and I didn't need to push. I was losing half second lap. I could have gone half second faster. I had a lot in the bag. I was just managing, you know. Yeah, I was really happy with quali. Thank you to my teammate Fred. He gave me a nice slip. But yeah, it was all about slip. And I'm really sorry to obviously Deacon. I did tap him going into that corner, but he did brake about 30 or 40 meters earlier than I was expecting. I did brake way earlier than usual. But yeah, I'm really sorry to ruin his race. But what a drive from Panic. He came all the way back at P3 and also Deacon P4. And yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, you certainly put on a show for us, and something that we definitely noticed in the commentary box was the fact that you was able to save your tyres so much better than the rest of the grid. Also, you know, saving fuel as well, and you was able to sort of eke out another sort of like 3 to 4 laps over many of the drivers behind. So, but tell us, was this always a plan of yours? Was it like what kind of thoughts do you have going into a race? Is it like kind of like changing it up on a sort of lap to lap basis, or was you always going to go for this strategy?
So I was always going to go for the strategy unless I got like damage early on, but I knew just because of practice I could save my tires really, really well. And that just comes down to I was just not pushing as hard as everyone else. I still had quite a lot in reserve. Yeah, so I could just afford to save tires and still do pretty good laps. So I was pretty happy with that. And
was you quite surprised with the gaps once you came back out on your medium stint? Because, of course, we know about Giller. He kind of chose the wrong tyres, so it was a mistake on his behalf. But obviously, you know, keeping an eye on the gap to the drivers behind, was you quite surprised with how large that gap was?
To be honest, not really. I was just driving my own race, not really paying attention to anything else, just focusing on not making mistakes, and yeah, just keeping my mind clear, just keeping cool, and just thinking my way through the race.
And then I suppose my last question to you is that you know, what is your kind of like mentality when you sort of get towards the end of the race? You know, you've got a comfortable margin to the rest. Is it difficult to sort of keep that focus and just keep concentrating on the job in hand, or was it quite comfortable for you in the end?
I always find it quite easy as a driver. Generally in battles I can be quite aggressive, but generally in driving I can stay really cool in terms of my emotions, and I can just focus, just calm down, and I can actually multitask while driving because I actually have my dad next to me quite a lot of the time, and I just often talk to him during races, and I'm just chilled.
So Dad is the race engineer. Okay, we've got that. Okay, that is
100%.
That is the secret to your success. Well, it was a great performance from yourself, Nutcap, and congratulations on your first victory of the season. I'm going to hand you over to Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, have you got any questions for our race winner?
Yeah, it certainly do. Nutcap, congratulations on that victory. We were talking a little bit about the execution of the race IQ that you showed today. Tell us a little bit about, there were plenty of people there that had teammates to run with. As it got to the end of the race, you were kind of by yourself. I think had the group have maybe not as battled quite as hard as they did, it would have been a little bit different as far as that gap decreasing as opposed to increasing towards the end of the race. But that's simply not what happened. So, did that fit right into the plan that you wanted to execute for today?
Well, I knew if I got my gap out front, I could pull away no matter what slip they had. I was just, even in those moments, I was still just saving pace. In case something did happen, I did have to stop pushing. I was just making sure I didn't touch that wall. I was just doing my thing.
Yeah, well, your thing was second to none today. As we saw you kind of stretching out your fuel and tires, which you've talked about a little bit, able to save your tires through the beginning portion of all of those battles. How did you maintain that where obviously everybody else was battling, fighting, and next thing we know, it's like, well, Nutcap has very little tire degradation. He looks like he's in a really good position early on in the race. Who would have? It was hard to predict based on the way that the slipstream worked out. If those teams would have worked together, I think they maybe could have had a chance to catch it, but it really didn't look like it. You were pulling away at the end, even though they were in a train of people. I don't even know that there's a question there other than just congratulations. You executed that so well. That was an absolute pleasure to watch. I know Flawed mentioned edge of the seat. I can't sit down while I watch these races. I'm standing up through the whole thing. So congratulations, man. That was exciting.
Thank you. I've had quite a few races recently where I've just come out on the wrong side where could have been a better result. But yeah, obviously, I think I did pretty well in this race. It was good to win.
Very good. Well, good luck next week. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was going to ask one more question, actually, Nutcap. So obviously, you picked up P4 in the first round. You've got the race victory today. So round 3, I'm pretty sure you've looked at the combos. You've probably even done your practice as well. So now getting that race victory, has that really given you that confidence to push on and be successful from round 3 onwards?
Yeah, 100%. But I also just remember that there was an incident in the race, so I wasn't exactly racing Panic and them the whole race. So they definitely do have a lot of pace still. I think it would have been a really, really close race between us. It would have been really fun. It definitely gives me a bit more confidence and really excited to race everyone next race.
Excellent stuff. Well, congratulations on a fantastic performance, a great victory, and we definitely look forward to seeing you next round and maybe even get you back into the interview room.
Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nutcap. Take care, and we'll see you next week.
Cool, thank you, bye.
Thank you, bye-bye. Okay, so that was the thoughts of our top 3 drivers. Very interesting thoughts, probably a lot of things in the race that we perhaps missed out on, crucially. It's definitely going to be one of them days where I think the stewards may be a little bit busy this week, so good luck to the stewards. But I guess it's time to see what is coming up for next week. So, without further ado, let's take a look. Okay, so coming up next week, we are off to America for round 3 of season 2 at the Blue Moon Bay Infield, road course A, that is. Track length is 3.3 kilometers, featuring 10 turns in this tricky circuit. They'll be running the Amuse Nismo 380 RS Super Leggera, I hope I pronounced that correctly, which features a 3.8 litre front-engined rear-wheel drive car powering 380 brake horsepower at 7,000 RPM, weighing in at just 1,370 kilos in this naturally aspired car. Now, Slow-Mo, I mean, this looks like a very unique combo, but you know, I was going to ask what your thoughts are on this combination, particularly the car.
Well, the combination looks like a lot of fun. I'm actually definitely going to do some practice laps on here and get the feel for it, because I am curious what these guys are up against with this vehicle. Not something I'm terribly familiar with. I know the Nissan Zs very well, driven quite a few of them, and they can be fast and nimble. So I think, you know, you're going to see these guys pushing this car to its absolute limits, as we did today with the one they were in today. So that is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be fun to watch, and certainly probably going to be very busy in the commentary box again. So definitely tune in for next week for round 3 of the SMA Season 2. But it is, of course, important to shout out our sponsors, because, of course, none of this would be possible without them. So SMA Season 2 is brought to you by Simulator Cave, TGSE Cape Town Golf Academy, Postnet Midstream, Right Recruitment, DC Designs, Coach Dave Academy, and finally Slayer. Thank you to all of our sponsors for Season 2 Road Rage. And please subscribe to our socials at Sim Motorsport Association on all our platforms: Facebook, Instagram, our growing community on Discord, and of course this very channel on YouTube. Make sure, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, clicking the bell notification so you don't miss any of our content. And when you're done watching, hit the like button so that it helps spread our YouTube content across the platform. Now, if you would like to get involved in future championships as a driver in 2026, please contact Robin Williams, our SMA GT7 promoter, for further details. The email links will be in the description below and on our YouTube homepage. A big thank you to the SMA Productions and the SMA admin for their tireless efforts, as always, and including our amazing moderators of Dana, CJ, and Double DP, plus Robin as well, for keeping everyone under control and welcoming all our new viewers in our YouTube chat. The SMA is in association with Motorsport South Africa, the only organisation licensed and fully backed by the FIA of all competitive motorsport inside of South Africa. Okay, we're going to get the thoughts, the final thoughts of Slow-Mo in a second, but also as well, let us know in chat who is your driver of the day as we go and speak to Slow-Mo. So just bear with me 1 second. We'll be back in a moment. SMA is brought to you by Simulator Cave, Postnet Midstream, and Slayer, our official sponsors for SMA Season 2. There we go. Right, screen there. Right, so Slow-Mo, you know, it was great to have you alongside me today in the commentary booth, and I mean, what a race to come to. It was full of action, the driver swapping of positions throughout the grid, but tell us your final thoughts of this race today.
You know, I think today's race was incredible. You had a little bit of everything. Excellent strategy. Obviously, we saw Nutcap work out a wonderful strategy that put him into that victor's spot. And tons of battling. You did see some unfortunate racing incidences, which are going to happen when these guys are pushing hard. Just another example of how talented these drivers are on track, to be able to go out there through all that chaos and make it look so easy.
Yes, they certainly did, and what a pleasure that was in commentating on such a eventful race, and a huge pleasure as well commentating alongside you as well, Slow-Mo. Of course, I've known you on many different events, including the NRL that we're currently involved in. For those that don't know, that is McNulty Gaming on YouTube, where we're in the midst of an exciting championship in that one. But Slow-Mo, I've got to say, you've been an absolute legend today, and thoroughly enjoyed commentating alongside you. But I really want to shout you out because you are also a YouTuber as well. So please, if you haven't already done so, go and check out Slow-Mo. His link is there for his YouTube. Please do share the love, subscribe, and tune in to his YouTube channel. But Mo, if you could just give us a quick reminder for those that don't know you, what kind of content to expect from you in the near future.
Yeah, so my YouTube is a little bit of everything. I do some Grand Theft Auto golf. We play some regular Grand Theft Auto. We play a little bit of Call of Duty, and always there's going to be some Gran Turismo 7 in there. So Flawed, always an honor to be in the booth with you, and always an honor to be here with the Sim Motorsports Association. So thank you so much for having me. I think it's almost time for a Slayer tonight.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think we need to get our energy back in our system, that is for sure. But yeah, thank you so much yet again, Slow-Mo, and hopefully we can get you back in the commentary booth before the season draws out.
That would be awesome. I hope we can get that going, so I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk more about that. But that I always love getting a chance to watch these guys run. I never miss a broadcast. So even though I'm not in the booth, watch for me in the comments. If you guys want to spark up a chat, I will generally be out there. So look forward to seeing everybody in round 3.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Slow-Mo. And before we do go, just a quick shout out to our production team of Lucky Mistake, aka Dana, that's in chat right now, producing all the fabulous graphics you see in front of you, as well as our YouTube content creator Parquet713, that is responsible for all the videos that you've seen today. So thank you so much for all the hard work that you've provided, and will continue to do so for the rest of the season. Yeah, we just please, do check them out. Please do hit the follow button for Lucky Mistake on Twitch. Please do hit the subscribe button for Parquet713 as well. They fully deserve all the love and support that they deserve. Yeah. And yeah, definitely please, it's important to share the love to these amazing people. But okay, so just to close out then, so round 2 is complete, and it was Puma Nutcap who actually reigned supreme today with his first victory of the season. So as the season gets closer and closer with 6 rounds remaining, who will reign supreme in the next race? Well, you'll have to tune in next week on the 20th of September at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Africa time to find out. But until then, it's myself, Flawed Genius Gaming, signing out. So thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's race, and make sure to smash that like button on the stream and hit the subscribe button if you're new. It'll be much appreciated. But until next week, it's a goodbye from me. So stay safe out there and have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now. SMA, growing the sport together.